Good morning, everybody.
Good
Somewhere in
evening.
the world, it is definitely morning. I'm just saying. How are you doing, Brent?
I'm good. How
Why
about
do we
you?
not have our background? What's going with our background? There's our background. Now we
Hey,
have a background.
Jackson.
Hmm?
Jackson's here.
Jackson's here. I don't know if Jackson's joining us, but Jackson's definitely here. Hey, Jackson. I am wearing ridiculously uncomfortable gloves to do this job. So the last couple of times I was trying to use my slide converter, I noticed that it had, yep, I get that. I noticed that when I did the slides, they didn't, they had all kinds of little dust particles and things on them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, well, I've got to figure out what to do about this. And so what I ended up doing was I went to Mike's camera today and I got myself some cotton gloves and a static free cloth and a little blowy thingy to blow all the dust off of here. Because once these dust particles are on here, they're so hard to remove except by Photoshop. It's pretty much
Yeah.
the only way you can do it. So I've got the little hurricane thingy to blow these slides off so that I can see if this makes a difference. I hope it does because this was getting kind of irritating.
I know that feeling because right now I'm having issues trying to get paintbrushes out of this damn holder in my paint carrier I have so I can use them to paint.
We don't do any drawing at all. This is the never drawing show tonight. We can't have Jackson here, so there's no drawing there.
Okay, I'm never using this particular case to hold again.
Wow, look at that. That's a mess.
I guess it got so hot at some point that the plastic in here melted. So
Wow. Did you like put it on your bike or something?
no, I typically keep it like at home, or if I take it to work, it's on my back. But I don't keep it like
Oh,
in a spot more than a couple of minutes. So I have a feeling that at some point it got moved under. Yeah,
right. When you're
I have a feeling it got moved to like some place under the sun, and it just sat there by someone I won't mention who I think did it by name. Yep, damn, all the brushes are like this. And these were new. They were just like sitting there waiting to be used. It's okay.
it's much better. There is still
These
some
makeup
artifacts,
brushes. Sorry. Go ahead.
but
I,
it is the slide.
I am very disappointed. I'm having to cut these brushes out, so I'm glad I got some new ones in. So, how was your day there, guy?
Actually, really good. See you.
See me? You didn't come to Topeka.
And talked to admissions, and I talked to hang on. For some, as
You're
soon as the scanner program starts running, I start getting my yellow bars over here, and I start running down, like you were saying earlier, where you were like, you are very much like the wrong network. It's not the wrong network. It's the scanner
yeah,
program. As soon as I run the scanner program, you know,
because it's using up so much processing power.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I want to explain this because it was a cool thing that happened today, and then I'll get back into the scanning program, and we'll do the scanning maybe later or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, I went. So at first, the whole thing was okay. I'm going to go to Mike's camera because I'm like, there are obviously it's obviously scanning in dirt and stuff on these slides because these slides are ancient. They're my
mm-hmm.
dad's slides, and they're he shot some of these in the '60s and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, well, clearly I'm going to have to get 60 years, 70 years worth of dirt off of this stuff.
Yeah,
So okay,
dirt and
so I went
grime.
to Mike's camera and I got all the little pieces. Then I was with a friend of mine who she and I were talking about kind of getting focus on life. And I was like, look, I'm going back to school to get focus on life. And she's like, And I was like, why don't you come with me? And so I decided to drive up there because I needed to ask one question of financial aid, which I
Mm-hmm.
could have done over the phone. But I thought this would be kind of cool to bring her along with me because maybe she would find something she wanted to do there too. So we drove up there and I went to the financial aid office and asked them because my big concern is I'm worried if I join in on the spring semester, I'm concerned that I might actually have to take student loans out because all of the um, stuff that you can do for uh, federal grants and scholarships typically start in the fall. So
Yeah.
there's not that many you can do in the middle of the year. Okay, no problem. I'm going to go up there and see. So I went up there and I was like, well, if I'm going to have to take a student loan, they just dismissed my other student loans from my previous college,
Mm-hmm.
but it hasn't gone through yet. So it's still sitting there. It's still hanging out and the student loan company still has it. And so it hasn't actually been dismissed yet. So I was like, okay, is this going to ruin that? Like if I get a new loan, will it wipe out or like enact that and all of a sudden I'll be, culpable for the new loan and the old loan? And she was like, no, they're completely separate. Don't worry about it. That won't be a problem. Yay, good. So then I went across the little hallway there because we were in the main building to registration. And I was like, I'm just checking in on my registration and introducing my friend to all of the possibilities that could happen here. And I was like, hey, while I'm at it, um, I just had an idea. I came to see you in 1992, and I took a semester or two. But this morning I was looking through my paperwork and realized that I had Japanese 1020 written in the upper corner, which means that that's Japanese 102. That's not Japanese 101. I
Yeah.
thought I'd only been there for one semester. You can't be in a 102 class unless you've taken the 101 class. So I was like, I've been there for two semesters. And she went, huh. And she typed it up and she goes, yeah, you're not a first year student, you're a transfer student. And then she changed my status. And I've been like, because it started with I was a transfer student, but then
Yeah.
Westwood College was all junk and they couldn't use any of it. So they switched me back to a first year where you have to prove that you're like worthy of going to college. You know what I mean? Like you kind of have to prove that you're interested and serious enough. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
go through all the, letters of recommendation and your high school teacher who all of my high school teachers have retired, but they have to, all this stuff. And it's like, God. So now it's switched back, and I'm switched back to being a transfer student. And they can immediately take me out of Japanese 101, which is fine because I would have gone in there and just talked to them, and 10
You
minutes
have been
later
a
they'd be
teacher.
moving me to Japanese 3 anyway because I can just talk to them in Japanese. So
Mhm.
I've been like, yeah, you're not going to want me in Japanese 101. I'll just draw pictures in the back of the classroom and throw things. It'll be horrible. So, because I'm immature and I can't possibly do this right.
Because I'm
But that was
neurodivergent
really
and I have
cool.
issues.
Yeah, I was just glad to be a transfer student. I was like, because I don't want to, when you're a transfer student, everything's a little easier on the admission process. I also feel like you're not in the big pool.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like when you're a first year, you're in there with all the other kids. All these kids coming in from high school, they're 18 years old, and you're like just in this pool. But when you're a transfer student, you're in a different pool. You're with all the other people who've been to college and they're coming back and they're doing it again. And it's a different group of people. And like, obviously they weren't going to make me stay in the dorms. That would be not only uncomfortable, but weird. So
Oh, come
obviously,
on. You want to
right.
hang out with kids.
They're drinking all night. I'm like, ugh.
No, what you do is then you apply to be the RA on the floor.
Right,
So then that way they pay you also to be there.
right, exactly. That'd be cool. But I've got a kiddo. I'm not
Mhm.
taking the kiddo and living on campus with a kiddo.
Oh, that would have
That'd
been
be
a lot.
weird.
I think you
That,
would have enjoyed it too.
I mean, I think the truth of the matter is the kiddo would probably get a kick out of it. But regardless, we probably ought not to do that.
Mom, not so much.
Right? Mom may not be going for that one as well. So anyway, that was still a cool thing. That was the big thing for today. I was like, hey, check it. I'm actually like, things are good here. That's kind of cool. Isn't that nice? So that was cool. That was the thing that happened. I was like, yay, look at us doing the right thing. Getting it done. Getting everything done.
Adulting
Right?
properly.
Adulting. And I got my high school transcripts in, whether they liked it or not. It was very funny. So Jefferson County Open School, which is where I went to school, they don't do transcripts. Like they don't do grades for one. So you can't just get, class 1, A, B, B, whatever. Instead,
Mhm.
what they do is we self-evaluate. We do our own evaluations. And then once we do the evaluations, we have a closeout meeting at the end of the year where we all get together and my teachers and everything check over my evaluations, say, yeah, that's pretty accurate. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. And then if all is accurate, they sign it and you have a closeout meeting and you're done. And then they send that to the county and the county just scans it in wholesale. They're like, we don't know what to do with this. So the county just scans it in. Well, this morning I got a call from the county registrar office because, of course, I've been out of school for so long. It's 30 years old. They've got to go back and find a 30-year-old transcript. And they were like, we can send it to you. That's no problem. Why didn't you want us to send it directly to CU Boulder? And I was like, uh, I don't know. And they're like, I can't. They're like, I'll send one copy to you so you can have it. But do you want to want us to send it directly to school? And I'm like, please. And they're like, okay, you'll have to go through and like do it again, and you'll be charged again. I'm like, it's $3. I'm not really worried. So, like,
Yeah.
please do it again. And so they did. And so the registrar's office up at the school already has it, and so that was cool. And then I asked a buddy of mine to do a letter of recommendation, and she's doing that right now and sending it in. And it's just it's the gravitas of having. She's a professor at University of Oregon,
Hmm.
and so she's a PhD almost in the field that I'm at. So the way I want to go into, like, she's almost in the same field. She's in cultural relations with Japan, cultural relations, but I figure if she writes a letter of recommendation, that'll hold some gravitas when I finally clear my undergrad and go into my grad school side.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping for.
a little bit more weight behind the recommendation.
Yeah, putting the PhD behind there helps when you're trying to become a PhD. So that was cool. So that was my day went well. I mean, it was like I mean, it was just a whole bunch of hey, this worked, and that was cool because it was kind of depressing to
Hmm.
have the report earlier that well, we're sorry, but there's nothing we can take from Westwood, so you're going to have to be a first year student again.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I don't want to be a first year student. So it was like, oh. But
And then
this
you
thing
get good
happened today.
news.
Yeah. Well, what had happened was in all this scanning that I've been doing, I found my old student ID for CU Boulder. And so on a whim, I was like, hey, will this help any? And they were like, actually, yes, it will. Because I thought for sure, I was like, I was only there for one semester. But then I saw the 1020 and I'm like, that's 2 semesters. And so they were like, yeah, if you were here for an entire school year, then that's a different story.
Yeah.
You know, if you were here for one semester, we would have been like, but you were here for a
Uh,
whole school year.
yeah.
That's a different story completely. And so they were like, I was like, oh, okay, cool. That was cool. So that was my day this morning. It was cool. And my buddy, I think, is gonna my buddy is having problems in her relationship with her respective other, and so I was like, you guys need to go get therapy. Take it from somebody who really should have benefited from therapy. Go get therapy.
Hmm. See, this is what I've been working on.
Oh, look at that.
So then I can do.
Right. They're magnetic. Look at that. I like this. This is good. This is the question of how strong are those magnets? How far out can you go before
I could go. I think I did a 4x1 a couple days ago.
There you
They're
go.
really strong magnets, mind you.
And not very heavy tiles,
No,
I assume.
it's just PVA foam. Here, PVA foam,
Okay.
poly, and then I got me a wire cutter.
Oh.
So I've been playing with it and trying some new skills. Can't see the detail
Yeah, I
on
can see
that,
that. That's
but
pretty cool.
once I paint it up, you'll probably see like the little scratching lines I did in there to make it look like wood.
Nice.
And then I got small little bits and pieces. But I don't have brown paint. Like I was looking around my entire paint collection. Typically I have a really good stuff for
Uh-huh.
miniature painting.
Right.
Yeah. I don't have brown paint. The one pot of it I had went bad.
Oh.
So I have to figure out how to get over to Lawrence, Kansas. It's like a 20-minute drive, but get over there to go pick up paint.
Yeah, because you're far enough away that that's an issue.
Yeah. Well, it'd be like if I'm going there, I'll probably spend hours at the particular game store because I've never been to it, and so
You'll have to
it'd
find out
be
what
a
they've got.
yeah, see what they've got and see if it matches what I want or the particular brand because I like not to promote any one miniature paint or not, but I like monument paints better
Right.
because well, I'll show you the monument paint.
You can promote one more over the other one here. No one's paying you, so it's like,
Like this is the monument paints
mm-hmm.
bottles, and they're acrylic, and they got already a little mixing ball in there, and it's just a pretty simple. You squeeze it out, and it comes out,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can close it up and use only what you need. Comparative to someone like Citadel,
Right. which is $5 billion and not as
Well,
useful.
the monument paints are about the same price.
So there's still $4 billion, but at least they're
Yeah,
useful.
they're like $4 for a pot of it. While Citadel paints like this is like $8, $9.
Yeah.
And then once you open it, it's open to the world, unsealed, and it's really hard to like
Form the seal
measure
again.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also measure out what you want to use.
Mm-hmm.
Just what you want to use.
Yeah.
And that was what my brown was a Citadel paint. A really good brown because it was like burnt leather type. It is a really dark brown,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's gone. So yeah, and I'm just like kind of disappointed because it was a brand new pot too, and it just went bad. And I've only used it maybe once or twice. So
It's pretty rough, actually.
yeah, it is.
On the other side is also I just got the email this morning for the 2024 JET program application.
For the school year to teach in Japan.
Mm-hmm. My application must be complete by November 17th. So this is my plan B. If I don't make it into CU, I'm doing this.
So you better go ahead and start filling that out now. So you
So I'm
have it done.
thinking I'll go on ahead and start their application process and get it all together and see what we need.
Mm-hmm. Most like you're going to have to make sure you have a new or newer passport.
Right. Well, my passport's good to 27, so we're okay there.
Yeah.
But still, this is going to be one of those things where looking at this and I'm like,
It's
this
better
is
to
not
have
good.
options.
Yeah. This is my plan B, which is good because I realize I don't have a plan B if I don't go to CU. I don't want to go somewhere else. Like CSU, Colorado State, actually would accept my some of my credits from Westwood
Mm-hmm.
for reasons I don't know why, but they're the only college in the state. But I'm not going to go to Greeley, and I don't want to. That's not been my battle plan. I'm okay with starting over at CU because I'm going to be doing a Japanese culture undergrad, so it doesn't matter. All the stuff's still going to be cool, and the things that aren't so cool I can clap out of.
Yeah.
So, I'm just, like I probably don't necessarily need to take an American history class, but could be fascinating and interesting to see where college wants to go with American history. You know what I mean? Like that could be kind of
Or
cool anyway. So like
or it could
even
be a
all
different
of the
view.
hmm?
It could be a different point of view.
Could be a totally different point of view, exactly. And who knows? I mean, maybe it'll be fascinating and maybe it won't, but either way, I'm actually kind of like even the boring classes sound kind of cool. Biology, geology. I'd eat those for breakfast. Those things are great. I would be like all about that. That'd be cool. The only one that I don't want to take again is algebra. You know what I mean? Like any of the math classes, if I can dodge them, I will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like get the heck out of a math class. But looking at my Westwood transcripts, I realized that I took algebra 1 at Westwood and got a B plus, which I would have thought that was a impossibility personally. I think, and then I remember back then when I got it, I remember just calling dad and just going, I got a B plus in my algebra class. And even he was like, that's something I didn't think I'd ever hear you say. He's like, I knew you would ace all those art classes, but algebra?
Algebra?
I'm pretty proud of you for that. And I was like, yeah, I'm pretty proud of me for that too.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I'm sure that if I could probably, struggle out another C, out of it. You know what I mean? Like not failing, which would be fine. But if I could avoid it, that would be cool. Because there's nothing else that I could see on there that would be boring or not interesting except for the algebra class. You know,
Yeah.
I'd be hating that algebra class like hardcore. But I'm I'm on, I'm on medications now for ADD. It should be markedly easier for me to do school than it was back then. Even but even when I went back to college in 2002, I wasn't on medication, but I did manage to make a 3.45. That's not a bad GPA at all. I was on the
No.
honors roll. I was on the dean's list. You know what I mean? Like, so clearly I can, if I buckle it down, I can make it work. This time I should be fine, you know? So it was just one of those things. I'm kind of
So
looking forward to it. I'm
so
looking
let me ask you this: Have you thinking about if you do the JET program as Plan B,
hmm
right? Have you talked with art partner Mariah about plan of what you would do as far as kiddo
the kid.
goes?
Yep.
Okay.
There is that one has the on the table for the kid to go with me
Hmm.
or the kid to stay here. Up to the kid.
Yeah.
If the kid wants to go, Jet has family housing.
Hmm.
And we could put the kid in a Japanese school, which would be really rough for the first year until the
Hmm.
kid got fluent in Japanese.
Japanese.
But once the kid's fluent in Japanese, it'd be the same arguments and fights that we have here all the time. So,
Yeah.
but the kid seems to be leaning towards staying here to be with their friends and stuff like that. So I follow. I follow that. So that's a thing. So that would be a bit that we'd have to discuss and stuff like that, and that'd be fine. And then they'd probably visit me on the during the summer,
Summers and breaks. Yeah.
right? So if we go by Plan B, it is not as good because even though Plan B will be awesome and will allow me to do all the things that I meant to do, it will return me to Denver in the exact same place I'm in right now, except 5 years older.
Yeah.
And so as far as an end game for my life, that's not very good.
Hmm.
It'll be great for just getting my life back on track and putting myself back on the right rails. But for an end game to where I'm going to be at retirement and stuff like that, I'll be 10 years from retirement at that point.
Yeah.
When I return, just 10 years from retirement with no career path.
Hmm.
And I'd still not have a bachelor's degree. So I still wouldn't be able to get a teacher's license. So I still wouldn't be, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But couldn't
So
you also go to school there in Japan? Let me ask that.
yeah, that'd be what I would probably do is do night classes. That was going to be the plan.
Yeah.
Was
Okay.
I'd go over there and then do night classes but then I'd have to figure out a place that would let me do night classes
Yeah.
remotely from Japan, which would be fine. I'm
Or
sure
do or
I'm
go
sure
to
Metro would
university
do it or
there.
whatever. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of options here. Red Rocks, Metro,
Well, there's
especially if I
also
went to them first physically and said, "Hi,
yeah.
here I am. I'm a real human. Here's all my paperwork. Let's sign all the stuff. I'm heading off to Japan now." And then, I'll be on remote for the remainder of this
Well,
until I get back.
I was just thinking too that if like let's say your station or your school or whatever is in Okinawa, Japan.
Right.
You're right there. You're by a U.S. military base, so they have Phoenix University. They have all sorts of other college programs right there, and
Sure.
you could easily tie that into the U.S. military school systems as well.
Right. But I mean, you think about it. Right now, it's 1:30 in the afternoon in Japan
Hmm.
at the moment. Um, so I guess really it's kind of hard going the other direction.
Well,
But
they do in person classes there too when it
yeah,
comes
but I'm
to
just saying that
those
like
students.
if I
But
were
yeah,
working a normal school day, I wouldn't be out by now.
yeah. Well,
And the
no,
school day
even
would have
then
started.
they would go off the military schedule because a lot of militaries personnel and their families.
Oh yeah, you're talking about Okinawa.
Yeah,
I was talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
communicating back here for
School, yeah, that's a
school.
little bit different, and that would be
Yeah,
hard.
I would probably end up being weird. Like I'd end up coming off of school and going to bed and going to sleep and staying asleep and then waking up at like midnight and then going to classes throughout the middle of the night
Hmm.
and then going to work after that and then coming home. So I'd be sleeping on the swing,
Yeah,
which would be kind of a weird setup, but I could do it if I really needed to. If they really needed me to attend classes.
yeah.
Um, because I mean, that could be a thing I could attend remotely. But the problem is that the classes would be in the middle of the night for me,
Hmm.
and that'd be the issue. But I'm sure I'm not the first person to do this, so
No.
I'm sure they've got like a whole, oh yeah, we have, teachers that work in the evenings for the evening shift. You just join all the evening classes or whatever, you
In
know.
some classes, actually, they don't do online presentations like a Zoom or Restream type thing.
Right.
You read your material. The teacher will post like a question, a quiz type thing online. You do it whatever you want, and then they have discussion groups where you log in, you make a posting about your thought and your process, and then you have to comment on someone else's and that type of thing too. There are some courses that will do it that way. I know when I was looking at a couple of the times when I was overseas deployed, when I was in the military, that's how some of the schools would do it there too. They would be like,
Right.
okay, well, these would be your assignments. You need to get them done by this day. This is your reading. This is what you need to do to get the credit in the class.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry, Torment is starting to play with the cable to my
Torment.
headphone. Torment the Tormentor. Hey, Alfie.
Oh, Alfie's got new parents. Good job. Parrots. I don't know why I said
Parrots.
parents. Alfie's trading out parents, apparently. Who knew?
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Right?
You know, just as much as your parent can adopt a kid, well, a kid can adopt new parents.
Right? Yep, yep, yep. Yep. Double checking here on the jet requirements. It does not say there's not an age requirement to jet. Traded them out for right. The old pair. All applicants must be interested in Japan. Not a problem. Be both mentally and physically healthy. Not a problem. Be a citizen of the United States by the application deadline. Also not a problem. Hold a bachelor's degree.
That's a problem.
Well, it's
Sort
only
of.
if you're trying to look for the certification on it.
Yeah.
Have the ability to adapt. What I'm noticing is some people recognize it and some people don't. Pineapple and blueberry have excellent standard pronunciation, rhythm, intonation in the English language. I don't think I have a problem with that one. Have the ability to adapt to living in the working conditions in Japan. I don't have a problem with that one either. Have not participated on jet since 2020. No. Have not lived in Japan for a 6 or more years in total since 2013. Also not a problem, sadly. I'm thinking about joining jet. Agree to reside in Japan.
JET is a
By all Japanese law.
Japanese exchange program,
Yep,
whereas
Japanese
U.S.
Japanese English
citizens.
teacher program.
Yep. So, as an American, if I wanted to, I could go to Japan, assist with teaching English over
Yep.
there to Japanese students. And it's a 5 year contract, I believe, or depending on some of the schools and some of the programs, it's a year or up to 5. So, yeah.
Yep. So this is my plan B. I'm going back to college, or if I don't get accepted into college, I will be going to JET. So I just created my account and I'm logging in.
Come here. Come here, kitty cat. Ugh. Here. You I'll be on camera
Hi,
for a few
Tormund.
moments. And digging into things you're not supposed to. Alfie, this is Tormund, aka Tormund the Giant's Bane. Tormund
Right.
the Tormentor. And he knocked over a bunch of stuff behind me because I'm not giving him attention. And now he wants to jump away. Cool. Mm-hmm. You were on camera, Tormund. People say hi. Now he's looking at me like, why'd you make me do that? Come on, Dad.
So here's another thing. So I will I'm looking at their transcript requirements. It doesn't say anything about it not being a specific school. Just wants they want proof of citizenship. That's easy. I was born here. So there's that. Guides to letters of reference. Easy. University transcripts. Easy. Proof of graduation. Also in my transcripts. I have it all as one PDF file now. I just have the diploma, and I have all the other things in there, my honors degree and or my honors certificate and stuff. Statement of physician guide. What does that mean?
Probably you have to see a doctor to have a
Yeah.
sign off on it. I know for some particular military duties stations, if you're going to be gone for a long time, they want to make sure that you are physically fit and have
Right.
no dental or any issues like that that may come up while you're at said stations for reasons of you may not have medical or dental care nearby. And an
Right.
easy
Well,
way to
and
get
I'd
there.
want the statement of the physician because, if nothing else, how do you deal with the fact of a controlled substance in a country that has very strict rules about controlled substances?
Yeah.
And no matter what, ADD meds are most certainly a controlled substance. So that's something to think about. I'm not going to worry about this just yet, but I'm just going to kind of look it over real quick. Work experience. Because number 3 on this one's going to be interact. As soon as they see that, they'll be like, wait a minute. I
You
think the
were.
biggest thing is Interact was 15 years ago, so it's outside of their zone and their blackout zone.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's enough that they know that I've already dealt with BOEs and stuff like that.
Yes, Jackson Wood, a naughty boy for Tormund knocking stuff over.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. It's probably a toolbox and a piece of
CIR,
R2D2.
Coordinator for International Relations. What's this? They're engaged in internationalization activities. CIRs are placed in international exchange departments or bureaus of contracting organizations. Participants are to carry out their duties as CIRs as specified by the supervisor at individual contracting organizations. What do they include? CIRs are required to have semi-advanced to advanced Japanese language ability. Well, there's that. I have not advanced, so it will take some time. CIRs may be assisting in the international exchange affairs of the contracting organization, editing, translating, or compiling publications into a foreign language. Okay. Assisting in international economic exchange affairs. Oh, this sounds like this could be fun if I had more Japanese power. Cooperating in language instruction of employees of the contracting organization.
No, Alfie, I've been
Yeah.
here. I'm actually Nobiru I'm the
Yep.
Brent that guy is always talking about.
Yeah, this is Brent, who's the Brent that is always here every night. It's just that he's
Every
working on
day,
painting and
mostly
every day too.
tonight. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm mostly on the days.
there's an interview location here. That's useful.
They were in Denver.
Yeah.
Probably the Japanese consulate. Because don't you have one there?
Yes. And actually, I don't know why I just said that. My buddy who works here works in the consulate, and she's like, I work with Jet. So just wanted to, because she originally said, I work with Jet, and I'm sorry to say we don't accept anybody over 40. And I said, I've checked your website, and that's not true. And she's like, really? And then she's like, I will go back and check. And she went back and checked. She came back. She's like, you're right. Who knew?
Why
So
wouldn't they work with anyone over 40 though?
I don't know.
That's a little weird.
But that's all right. I've
Eh,
now logged in and confirmed my login, so um I'm prepared for plan B should that go into effect.
Start working on it. And look at it this way: when you get back, if you have to initiate Plan B, and when you get back, you could always start doing the nomad life. Get yourself like a bus or a van, convert it, and
Hmm.
there you go.
Right? Like the
Because your kid,
canoes. Have you
yeah,
seen
well,
canoes? I want a
no,
canoe. They're very cool. So there's a startup company out there called Canoes, Canoo, and they're making weird little vans. They're very adorable. And I want one. I have lots of birds watching us. I feel like this is the
oh,
reverse of bird watching,
okay, that does look a little cute.
right? It's kind of cute and it's big and open on the inside. So it's like a big open inside so that you can do all the, like, you can just make it into a bed.
Okay, so I'm looking at their website, and they have a lifestyle vehicle, which looks like a van.
Yeah.
Then they have the MPDV, which looks like a box truck.
Hmm.
They have a pickup truck, obviously pickup truck, and then they have just the platform.
Right. So you can just use it as a skateboard, a very large skateboard.
Yeah, and
No, but they actually, they've got contracts out for the military now. So that those canoes will be showing up in
yeah.
military positions soon. And actually, their military version of those canoes make that cute little truck kind of look badass. I mean, it's like serious. I'm like, wow, it's like kind of cool.
So I'm looking at that the MPDV version.
Hmm.
And I take it these are all electric, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot of space in
Hmm.
there, and I kind of like how the door is. Okay, what is pre-order? How much do they cost?
30, 35,
Okay,
40.
40, you're starting to get into the 30, 35, that's not too bad.
No. I mean, most electric cars are kind of expensive right now because the
Yeah.
technology is new.
My biggest issue is to get it probably fully off grid, you'd have to do lots of solar on the top
Well, yeah, you'd have to have a parking
or a
station for it.
generator. Yeah.
You have to have a parking station, like a shelter, which is just nothing but solar panels.
Hmm. The full roof would have to be all solar. But yeah.
But I mean, you buy effectively a garage space somewhere, or, the land of just a garage space where you can put up the solar panels like in a little shed, which is just all solar panels that power up a Tesla battery, you know.
Well, you could also, you don't even need to do that. You could most likely mount solar on the top
Yeah.
and then just
But
drive.
I don't think it wouldn't recharge it fast.
Yeah,
Solar
no,
is just not
no.
efficient enough yet.
Well, and so as you know, I've been looking at this whole schoolie idea,
Hmm.
and a lot of people are like, you want to kind of go with the 3-3-3 rule. You don't really want to travel more than 3 hours a day or 3 days consecutively, and then for every one day that you travel, you kind of want to spend about 3 days in a location, 1 to 3 days. So that's they call it the 3-3-3 rule. So three
Makes sense.
threes.
Hmm.
And so if you're traveling, let's say 3 hours, even at 70 miles per hour. That's 210 miles
Right.
average. And if you're getting about 3 to 400 miles to the charge, I don't know what these batteries look like or what their range is. So you can easily go that distance and then kind of sit there, charge, and do whatever else you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like they have Artemis designs.
Artemis Designs.
The NASA Artemis
Oh,
launch.
yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're NASA's gotten into them too.
Did they give like battery numbers?
So the problem is they're a startup, so a lot of their data is still not
Yeah, it's not going to
easily.
be fully.
But I've been kind of hanging out watching them for a while, and they seem like good people. Like they actually have a battle plan that seems kind of cool.
Mhm.
They're not they're not weird. I'm looking at certain individuals pointedly. Which, okay, so as much as I do, we knock Musk for a lot of things, but he did a very good job for SpaceX, and he did a good job for Tesla getting them both started.
Mhm.
And you got to give him props for what he is. He's pretty much a PT Barnum era
Yeah.
salesman, you know, and he had the PT Barnum part going for him. Cool. There's nothing wrong with that. We need
Mhm.
those. That's how PT Barnum got all kinds of things going. You know what I mean? Like, it's how it works.
So he's reinvigorated space, I believe,
Yeah, I think so too. Like, we're
with
all kind of into the
SpaceX.
idea. This has been an era that's just been me, usually. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as I'm more and more like paying attention to space, like I remember as a kid, you'd watch a shuttle launch maybe once a year, if,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, mm, it's not bad, it's not great, but it's also not bad.
Right.
And nowadays, um, the Starlink launches and everything else, and everyone's like, Starship this, and let's watch and watching as SpaceX is doing this, and it's kind of the mindset where he's reinvigorated space exploration, not single handedly, but he's kind of been that kick in the butt to get it going back up again, to really get to people, the front of people's minds.
Mm-hmm.
Same with the EV vehicles. Before really he came out, yeah, you would have these one or two other companies that were either designing or building, but he really kind of kicked it in the butt to get it going.
Right. And that's the
And
way I feel
so,
too. He's a weirdo and strange, and I get that. But the
yeah,
truth is, he really did put stuff into motion.
hmm,
Like there's stuff going now,
yeah, and
which is
there's
cool.
stuff, and we're seeing advancements that we haven't seen. Like no one else is, and one other company before SpaceX did it was able to launch and land the rocket. There's one
Yeah, but they
company, I
were
can't remember
only,
their name, and they
I think,
only did it once.
Virgin Galactic.
Yeah, and they, but when he did it in such a way. He PT Barnard it.
Burnham.
He
Hmm.
put it out there. He showed the world that he was able to do it. He made it a mass entity,
Right.
and now it's an everyday occurrence. And if it doesn't land, that's going to be the news.
Right.
This didn't land properly. It blew up, and so he PT Barnum the whole idea of space
Yeah.
and get it back into people's mindset. Now, this other stuff that he's done is like, what are you thinking? But
Absolutely. And it's amazing to me. I mean, legitimately, he did a good job, and I'm not gonna naysay that. I feel like people, now that he's gone and gotten bonkers or whatever, everybody's like, oh yeah, we don't. we don't deal with SpaceX anymore. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
SpaceX is still cool, you know?
It, and he's not really running SpaceX anymore.
Right. He's not there.
He's more of
Even
a
Tesla. I've been thinking about maybe getting a Tesla, you know? Well, we have the resources to do both. This is kind of one of the things that happened back in the Apollo program was, well, why are we going to the moon when and um and I mean, though I don't disagree with that argument, one of the things that's happening with space is it's changing the way our culture works. And maybe this is the Trekkie in me, and I admit that openly, but I feel like once in space, it's the world gets very small and fragile looking, and you start to want to take care of it more. This is definitely something that Bill Shatner saw when he was up there on Blue Origin. Um, and it's a big thing that's made me feel like we need to take care of the planet is simply because I mean, I've never been up there, but I certainly have seen a lot of our planet from above. Um, oh yeah,
oh
it's the
yeah, that
reason why I do the things that I do.
uh, but drama, fighting, and all that type of bullshit is always going to unfortunately be there, in my opinion. There's no way to ever get around it. The haves and haves not are always. Guy has great artistic, and so do you, Jackson. Have great artistic ability, and I don't have that. And yes, I'm jealous, but also I have a different ability that you two may not, and you may be jealous of me that have. So it's always the haves what you want and what you won't be able to get type of, and that's what
Yeah.
always brings it about. My
And
opinion.
I mean, and part of the reason that I'm going into the education field that I am is because I'm not 100% sure that that all's as clean cut as it looks either.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious why. Um, I was just having this discussion today with somebody else online. I would have thought that by now the people who are anti EV would have kind of realized that this is here to stay and stuff, but they're not. They're still just as sure that every EV just catches fire and the batteries die within 30 seconds of buying it and you have to pay $47,000 to replace them. And you know what I mean? Like all of these weird things that actual EV owners are not finding are true when owning an EV.
Mm-hmm.
But these people still believe it. And they believe that actual real human beings like me, who has actually owned an EV, is lying in some way to further an agenda, as opposed to, no, actually, our EV cost us nothing last year effectively. I mean, yeah, it took electricity off this house, but that's not a big deal. I mean,
It's
it doesn't,
power that
it
you have to
really
pay
takes
for
about as much
anyway.
power as a toaster. So,
Yeah.
you know, it just
And
takes it's the toaster running for 4 hours, but, you know, but for the most part, it's not that. But for some reason, these people still think, oh no, those EVs are going to cost you a whole lot more. And I'm like, I just went and had somebody tell me it's going to cost $300 for my oil change this next time round because they've got to do all of the regular fluids,
mm-hmm.
the flushes, and all of that stuff. We don't ever change fluids on a car, on an EV. There's no fluids to change.
Yeah.
So, like right there, I've saved $300 just there, right there. You know what I mean? And I'm like, so I don't know. I mean, you'd think that by now, so many of us have EVs that the people who are anti EV would find out that there really aren't car fires that burn, you know, 70 people or what. I don't know. They come up with all these things. And what fascinates me is that they're still there and they
Mm-hmm.
still believe it.
Well,
And
same
that's why I'm
thing.
going back to college because that's an interesting twist. You shouldn't be able to say, I mean, it's easy to say, "Oh yeah, well, if you show them the truth, then they'll believe it." But
No.
there's the truth right here. And literally people won't. You know what I mean?
So,
They'll fight to the bitter end on this one.
so,
It's
and I agree. And like my dad, he's a
right.
big. I love my dad, but
Sure, I do too.
he doesn't believe that EVs are the future. I'm like, but they are.
But they are.
And I'm sorry, I have to break it to you. Like here in the city, I even asked him, like, how far do you drive your car a day? And he's like, barely 5-10 miles. I'm like, okay. Now, how often do you fill up your gas tank? Oh, it's, let's say, just, or I'll use me a little bit more. For example, my motorcycle, will get 150 miles to the tank, and it's a
Right.
5.5 gallon tank.
Right.
That gets me about a week to a week and a half,
You're
maybe
getting
two.
about the same gas mileage that my car will. Or,
Yeah,
well, actually, you're getting kind of worse gas mileage than my car would because mine's got an 11-gallon tank but goes about 400 miles.
yeah.
So,
But mine's also like an 11-year-old motorcycle, and
right.
yeah, and it's a motorcycle too.
It's a
So
motorcycle.
yeah,
You should be getting better gas mileage, I would
I
think. But,
should, but I need to change the spark plugs and do
oh,
some
yeah.
maintenance
Yeah,
on
you
it.
got tune-ups coming
It's
up.
that
That's cool.
it's that time of year.
Right.
So like I get about 130 to 150 out of it, and on my bike, it's just me. So I fill up every other week, let's just say, and it
Yeah.
costs me $15. If I were to have an EV car, now I'm in an apartment, so there's a cleavage to that. But if I had
Yeah,
a
because you'd have
house,
to figure out how to charge
yeah,
it. But yeah.
if I had a house, I could charge it overnight when the building is lower. I know it's lower because I keep my AC on at 68 degrees at night, and when I sleep, and then during the day it goes up to 80, just enough to keep my cat happy. Torment, as he's
Right.
sitting over here by me. So if I were to charge an EV overnight, it would probably be about the same cost, maybe $10 to $20 more a month, if that.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm charging it every night, but
Usually cost us about 25 bucks a month was what
yeah,
we were finding.
and so, but if I only charge when I need it, you're talking. Let's say I get a 300 mile battery pack.
Right.
Now I know for a fact it's not going to go 300 miles, so conservatively probably
About
250,
two,
275.
210, 220.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's assuming you turn on every bell and whistle and drive
yeah.
all around with it.
And so you're talking even then at 5 to 10 miles a day, because I'm about 2.5 miles from work and I go home for lunch.
Right.
So 5 to 10 miles a day, you're still talking about one every other week to charge it. And then a lot of those charging, like even the Tesla's new ones, their superchargers with Tesla, their Gen 3 ones, I think will get you to 80% charge in 20-30 minutes.
20
And my
minutes. Yeah.
dad's always like, well, it takes like 40 minutes to charge it. I'm like, okay, it's 40 minutes, but let's say you go to the gas station. How long are you actually at the gas station for? Well, about 5-10 minutes. So in a 20-minute charge is only 10 minutes longer at the at a charging station than what you were putting gas in.
Right.
There's really no change. And that's also if you go to a charging station, chances are it's like right by a convenience store, so you can go in, get a snack, stretch your legs, walk around, use the bathroom. You have stuff you can do in that 20 minutes. Then you were walking away from your car just like you would if you were to put gas in it, or not like if you're putting gas in it, because you shouldn't walk away from your car when you fill it up with gas.
Right.
Yeah, and so then you go in, you do your business and all that. You're in there another 10 minutes. So either way, it equals itself out.
The biggest problem that they have is they think that they're going to be doing the charging station like they do a gas station. So they imagine going to this charging station, plugging the car in, and then having to sit in there for 20 minutes counting the seconds.
Yeah,
But in reality, in a house, you can just plug it into the wall and it's recharged every morning. So it's like having a full tank of gas every morning.
mm-hmm.
And since people don't look at it that way, it's always a difficult argument because they're
Yeah,
always like, I don't want to sit at a gas station for that long. But even if you do go to a charging station, like let's say you're in your apartment, you're going to have to go
mm-hmm.
to a charging station because there's no outlet near your car. And so you go to the charging station once every 2 weeks because you'll need to charge back up, but you're not driving very far. So shrug. Once every 2 weeks, you have to sit for 20 minutes at a charging station. That's not that big of a deal. But the other thing that I've been kind of having a problem with these guys is when I say it's the car, it's the future of vehicles.
Hmm.
People are like, you're just saying that because you're, a liberal, and here's all these things about how you're not actually saving the environment. And I'm like, I'm not talking about it like that. I'm talking about it like a driving instructor. A gas car runs at 475 degrees Fahrenheit. That's destructive ultimately
Hmm.
to the engine. That will destroy the engine. Engines only have about a 300,000 mile lifespan at that temperature,
If.
whereas an electric car runs at room temperature, 100 degrees tops. You have to replace the brushes at 1,000,000 miles, and the stator will have to be replaced every 3 million miles.
Hmm.
3 million miles is like 40 years of driving. I mean,
Hmm.
before you have to change the stator out.
Yeah.
And even then, you have to swap the stator out. Whatever. I mean,
Well,
like,
and see,
to think about the fact that these cars literally could live 40 years.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like live with you for 40 years. That's why I'm now doing what kind of vehicle, my next vehicle, since I'm going electric, will probably be my last vehicle. So I'm like looking at it going, okay, look at the last phase of my life. What do I want in a vehicle? That's why I'm
Hmm.
looking at those canoes, is because I think you could pull, if I ever become one of those where I can't walk as well anymore or whatever, you could pull the driver's seat out and then I could get in the back of it and slide forward in a wheelchair and buckle the wheelchair down or whatever
Yeah.
if I needed to. So that's why I'm kind of like
Hmm.
those canoes are big and they're pretty viable for, so I'm kind of like, those are kind of cool cars. And these are all the things I'm looking into for the last phase of
Hmm.
my life. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, what am I looking for in this last phase? Because likely the next car I buy is the last one.
Yeah.
Because even if I live another 25 years, this car is going to outlive me.
Hmm.
Stators will be replaceable. And, I mean, like all of these pieces, but that engine's not going to die.
Yeah.
It's got 1,000,000 miles on it, you know?
And
So that
so,
engine's not going to die.
just real quick, I looked at Tesla superchargers. I'm in Kansas, and I looked around me. There's one in my town, and it's in the parking lot of a Arby's
Mhm.
with a Boot Barn, Home Depot, and like half a dozen other stores. And it's kind of in the of this town. It's the shopping area of
Right.
town, and
And
so it's
now that
like,
Tesla's gone to NACS, that's the North American charging system. Now that they've gone to NACS,
mm,
it won't matter. All of us will be able to use it. Everybody will be able to use that Tesla station.
yep,
And
yeah,
I mean, that
it's.
changes. It's one of those things. I'm not talking about it from the point of view of saving the planet or whatever. Although we went there because of this. That's how
Mm-hmm,
we got to this point. Because I do want to save the planet and I do want to do less. It's just that a gas car requires so much babysitting.
mm-hmm,
My car's whining right now because I'm 5 weeks late for my oil change. And so the little alarm is in there every time I start the car. Bing, 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 oil change. And I've just been waiting for a good deal at my dealership because
mm-hmm,
it's going to cost $100 to do that. And I don't have $100. So I was
yeah,
waiting for them to have one of their $55 deals, which I just got. And I've got the little thing and I'm going to take it in there and that'll be great. But it's still, they're going to get in there and say, that all the rest of this stuff needs to be done too. So that's going to be $300. And I'm
yeah.
like, yeah, but I don't have it. So we
Don't
do what we
do it.
can, you know. And that's the thing. It's like, if I had an electric, we wouldn't be worrying about this.
No.
This wouldn't even be a thing,
And
you
see,
know.
I want to go electric with a car,
Yeah.
not a schoolie though, but
No.
an electric car. And honestly, it's to me, it's more economical,
Yeah.
even
That's what
if
we're
I'm
looking
in
at.
an apartment. And it's like, I'll drive an electric. I only, like I said, I'm at most, I travel 5, maybe 10 miles to work, to and from work. And also that's going to and from work during my lunch hour.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 4 trips. And other than going to my parents' place or the random run to the grocery store or wherever, I
Right.
really don't go too far.
Right.
So if I were to have that 200-300 mile battery for distance, that'd last me almost a month.
Sure. And
So
that's my whole thing is like, I'm thinking what I will probably do is I'll get an electric and then I'll go buy a Katora. So I'd have my little Japanese truck that's a 5 speed, so I can still drive around with a 5 speed because I really love 5 speeds and I always will. But that will be for show, and I'll take it out and drive around the block every 6 months or so. And so I won't need a lot out of it. And
yeah,
it'll go to shows and things like that and just be an adorable little Katora sitting in the back. Like the at Nandaskan, we have the Yatasha, which
yeah,
are, cars where they wrap them with all the anime stuff. And so my little Katora can just sit with the Yatasha cars for the weekend.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like it's still something cute and adorable in Japanese. It fits perfectly. I noticed that with the little place that has Katora in Dallas, they've got 2 fire trucks. So little Katora fire trucks would be awesome with little lights on top and it sitting there going bing, 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 bing. It'd just be so cute. And so, I'm into this plan. But that would be my how to drive around whenever I feel like I'm really jonesing for a 5 speed. You know what I mean? Like I just drive my little Katora around whenever I feel like I really need to do a 5 speed, and that'd be fine.
when you want to hear the rumble of an engine.
Right. When I even if it is pretty much 2 hamsters. I think I
So,
saw one of those Katora has a 2 cylinder.
so actually, I was going to send this to you a while back ago, but I'll see if I can't find it. There's a key truck here in Topeka up for sale for
Yeah.
2,500 bucks.
K truck, yeah.
Yeah, but it needs a new engine. They
Yeah.
were like, "Yeah, we had to pull the engine to fix it, and it needs an engine." I was like,
How
"Probably
much
not."
is it?
2,500.
That's not bad. But I mean a full-fledged one that runs is 5,000 or 5 to
Yeah.
9,000. This little company out in Dallas wants 9 for it. I'm like, you know what? I mean, it'd be a thing. I'd be into that.
hmm
So,
Yeah, if I find it again, I'll send it to you so you can get a kick out. And yeah, God, I saw them when I was in Okinawa, and I remember having to drive one myself for a little while because I was on that particular assignment for like a week and a half. But yeah, we
right.
would drive. We were the unit driver, so we had a K truck and we'd just drive around and take people to random places. Or no, we had the van. Sorry, we had the little K vans. I guess they're more so. We would drive
Because the
that thing around.
Suzuki carries are adorable.
Those, yeah.
I'm looking at this and I'm like, I mean, these are fine. These are all reserved, guys. What's not reserved? Because they're all reserved on the lot. That's not a K truck. That's a Nissan Atlas. But even that Nissan Atlas is 9,770. And Nissan Atlas is almost as adorable as some of these other K trucks. There's another carry. Yep. There's that Daihatsu Atrai fire deck van, which I thought would be so sweet, but it's sold. They've got a sandbar fire truck with its hoses.
No.
Here, I'll share my screen because like it's you gotta see this. It's so cute. Wait. There we go. Right? Look at that. Isn't that cute? That'd be so cute. Even has all of its hoses and the pumps in the back.
There you go. And all you need is a water hookup, and then you can have a party.
Right? Well, it needs all of its lights though, because it's
Yeah.
missing its light rack. But I mean, like, it's 11,000. It's a 5 speed. and 660 cc's. I mean, like, this is the perfect one. I'd pick this one up right away if I had 11,000 hanging around. You know, just saying. It's so cute. But I mean, it's just freaking adorable. These things are so cute. But that's what I would do is I'd get one of these. This would make me feel like I was still driving a manual, you know.
You can actually get those the K trucks in all electric.
I didn't know we had electric K trucks 20 years ago.
Well, not 20 years ago, but a lot of the newer design models.
Oh yeah,
If you
see
can
the
buy,
deal here is they're not street legal unless they're
yeah.
collectors vehicles.
Ah,
That's how they're making them street legal. And that's how they're getting around it
okay.
because it has to be 20 years old. Wow, that's a hard cargo, and it is too. It just sounds bad, but still. I mean, it looks pretty kick butt. It says hard cargo on it. I love any. Okay, so if it's got English, that just adds to its awesomeness. But I mean, this is. I mean, I guess because of its hard cargo ness, that makes it 26. But
Yeah, I'm
26
sure
is
it
pretty.
has some other upgrades.
Yeah, that's got to be something. But see, the cutest ones have always been the Suzuki Carries. They are just so freaking cute. Just their little eyeball eyes, their little eyeball lights in the front. They're so freaking adorable. So it's like, unfortunately, this one's reserved, but it doesn't matter. It's still cool. It's still way freaking adorable. Why is one of the pictures is the inside of their office? I don't know what that means. That's all right. But yeah, these freaking carries are just so cute.
Well, see,
Anyway,
here's a 1995 one for 3,800 on eBay.
is it a fire truck or is it just K-Tora?
Just K.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, like I said, I think this is what's going to happen. I think this is my battle plan. I'll have an electric, and then I'll have one of these guys. And these will be the ones that I drive around whenever I really feel like I need an engine underneath me. Because once you've kind of gotten gasoline in your veins, you get
Hmm.
gasoline in your veins. And that's just the way
Yeah.
it goes. Once gasoline's gotten into your veins, it's a problem. So, and I used to race and run, cars and trucks and things like that when I was a kid and when I was in high school and just out of high school and stuff like that. So I'm never gonna not have gasoline in my veins. But I feel like that's a thing. But yeah, this little fire truck's so cute. I'd buy it right now if I had the opportunity. But I don't have 11,000.
Like
If it's
I
still with
just
me whenever I do all the things, I might actually talk about it.
see. I'm sharing my screen as well, or I'm not sure if it's up
Oh,
or
it's
not.
not up because I'll bring it up here because I need to do the control thingy.
Oh, okay.
That's right. I got it. I got the control thingy. Yeah. See, there's the little one. That's a carry. It's a
Yeah.
95 carry.
4-wheel drive at that.
With an axle lock.
Hmm. Doesn't look like there's any rust down there.
No, it's also rare when you're in Japan.
Yeah.
I
Well,
need
this
to have
is
somebody give me a trailer.
it's in New York,
Yeah, that'd be a
Brooklyn. Yeah.
hell of a trailer.
Here's one.
Because you can't put them on interstates. They're not allowed.
Yeah.
So you'd have to keep it. And in fact, most big highways they'll have problems with it too. But oh man, I just hope that I still have someday whenever I hope that I still have
And
these guys or whatever.
they're all right-hand sided driving too.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I've already done that for a while.
This is one is in California. Oh, it looks like they got a bunch of other models out there.
California's a little closer than whatever, but yeah. We offer low cost shipping. Shipping rates are based on the delivery distance from a location. They start at 91 cents per mile. But yeah. I mean that this would be ideal. This would be my little thing. You can even carry extra people in the back. They even have seat belts. Oh my god.
Aw.
And the pump still works. Oh man, just saying. And it's got four-wheel drive too. This guy does.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of them do.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's got only 4,400 miles on it. I'm not even sure if it has 4,400 or 4,400 kilometers. This is the mileage is 4,400. Now I got to go look at it.
If the speedometer is in kilometers, then it's probably 4,400 kilometers.
Nope. 7130. That's it reads 7130, so it's 4,400 miles.
Yeah. Even
So
then,
that's
that's still not bad.
7,100 kilometers, which is fine. I
Yeah.
was just like, do you guys do your stuff in kilometers or miles when you say mileage?
All right. Well, I am probably going to head off to bed.
Yeah, I was going to say it's 11:24. We cleared the show at 30 minutes ago, but then
Yeah.
we started looking at K-Tora, and that's a thing. Thank you for joining me, my friend. I appreciate it. It
No
was good
problem.
having you on the show. I hope we didn't scare you away, Jackson. Because it's not that we don't agree with you. We do agree with you. We totally agree.
I agree 100%.
Yep. I just, but I got other thoughts I'm thinking here. Like, I'm wondering about stuff. Always makes me think of these things. Now I want this K-Tora. I'm all sad. There'll be more. The last time I was here 6 months ago, they had two other fire trucks that weren't this. So they're constantly getting fire trucks. It's just, I don't know, so there'll be another fire truck, and I think that'd be awesome. So anyway,
Try to win the lottery so then that way you can just buy it.
You're right. Just buy it outright. Here, just take this money. Just take it.
Yeah. Here you go. Here's the money.
Here's
Give
the money.
me what I want.
Just take it. Yeah. Cool. Thank you for being with me today. Thank you for joining us out there. I saw Alfie for a little while. Jackson was out here for a little bit too. Anyway, I hope to see you guys all tomorrow morning. And as always, keep your eyes on the stars. Good night.